All the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, a very good morning to you all. I have great pleasure in participating in the inauguration of this seminar, which, as the learned Vice Chancellor put it, has a great significance. I'm not an expert in global finance, capitals, and many other topics that are there for discussion in this session, but certainly I can, with my personal experience, say something about the prevailing corruption in this country and its effect on marginalized part of the society. Corruption is not something which is born recently. Corruption was there ever since the civilization itself was born. If you look into any one of your scriptures, you'll find some reference to corruption there. So corruption is an age-old phenomena. But what is worrying is the growth and the speed of corruption. When I was about 10 years old, today I'm 72 years old, my elders, we used to live in one of the districts in the West Coast, South Canada, used to say that 5 fingers were enough to count the corrupt in our district. I now say, very often when I'm called upon to speak about corruption, those 5 fingers are enough, but to count the honest. That is the growth of corruption. Just imagine for yourself, if we can take back corruption to the year 1950, that's when I was 10 years old, what would be the economic growth of this country? What would be the benefit to those people who are have-nots? Just imagine for yourself what would be the thing. Just to assess it in another manner, if during my time, if somebody took 10 rupees as bribe, we used to say there used to be 1 0 in it. Today, as you read in the media, if what CAG has said is correct, then one scam that has come out, one scam, CAG, if the amount that has been deprived to the society is 1,76,000 crores of rupees, how many zeros are there? To 1 0, we have come to now 14, 15 zeros. That's out of the scam that has been detected. There's, of course, the CWG, the Commonwealth Games. There's another one in the offing, Krishna Godavari Basin oil scam. If all this money were to be available to the state for the development, all the money going to the development, then imagine what would have been the economic development of this country and the benefit that people would have had. Let me give another example of how economically deprived people, especially the rural poor, are deprived of their true benefits. The very same Comptroller Auditor General of India in 2008 gave a report to the Government of India that for the year 2007-2008, out of the lakhs and crores of rupees given by the government for implementation of 8 schemes only, that too meant for the rural poor, like the midday meal scheme, integrated child development scheme, drinking water scheme, Gram Sadak Yojanas, such like 8 schemes from the amount released by the Government of India for 1 year 51,000 crores of rupees is unaccounted for. 51,000 crores in 2006, 2007, 2008. God knows how many other schemes have been deprived of this money. And even the money that is gone to the hands of the people who are to implement it, how much would have reached the rural poor? This reminds me of a statement made by then the Prime Minister, late Rajiv Gandhi, in 1988. He said, out of every rupee that the government gave to the poor beneficiary, only 15 paise reaches that poor beneficiary. Where does it 85 go? No inquiry has been conducted. Nobody has been held to be guilty. No systemic changes have been brought in to see that the amount is audited and an amount in reality reaches the person for whose benefit it is given. I have seen with my own eyes, though may not have suffered it, but I've seen it as Lokayukta Karnataka for 5 years. The sufferings of the people because of genuine deprival of their legitimate demands. Rich become richer, poor become poorer. And the society as a whole, we tolerate it. How many really stands and protests against this corruption? Anna Hazare fought for creation of a strong law to oversee good governance and try to prevent corruption by the creating of a Lokpal institution. This was a need felt in 1962 during Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's time. Within 12 years of our getting democracy, 1962, 1950 we got democracy. That first Administrative Reforms Commission, which was given this mandate to find out what are the ways and means, studied the deficiency in the governance, studied the magnitude of corruption, studied the international law in regard to that, and it found that the best way is to have an ombudsman, which the Scandinavian countries have been having for over 200 years. And today in Transparency International list of honest countries, in the first 5 countries, all the 4 Scandinavian countries are there at 1 to 5. New Zealand has recently come in as one other country. Where are we? 87? There are leaders who are prepared to say, Pakistan and China are below us. That's the satisfaction we get. Nobody questions, why are we there at 87? Why are we not there in a single digit? We have a culture of 5,000 years. No. Nobody's... A few voices are raised now and then. But that fire is there in most people in India. That's evident from the fact that a person was not known to most of India, one person called Anna. He could ignite that fire and bring these people down to the street. So much so that the parliament took an unusual step of passing a resolution. Whatever it is worth is a different matter. But it shows, given an opportunity, there are people who may not be victims of corruption, but they are against corruption. But most of the time, they are in a comatose situation. We require leaders who can come out and speak. Being honest. Everybody speaks about corruption. There is no difficulty about that. The question is whether he is honest is the issue. If a strong Lokpal bill comes, very often a question is asked, will it eradicate corruption? My answer certainly is no. But it can contain corruption in the first stage. It's the growth that has to be stunted, the growth that has to be controlled. Otherwise, the zeros in this corruption value will go on and on and on, and one day you will find yourself in difficulty. How often people who have been genuinely, I'll give one example in regard to the corruption affecting the rural people. I saw about 4 months back a photograph in a vernacular newspaper in Bangalore. Picture showed a lady with a pot sitting in a deserted area, digging the topsoil with a bare finger, and the article says that she has walked 4 kilometers to fetch 1 pot of water. She will walk back 4 kilometers, and the entire family has to do with that 1 pot of water for the requirement for the day. We are in 2011. We claim ourselves to be one of the developed countries. We talk about GDPs. Whose GDP are we talking about? Is there a contribution of this 121 crores of people in it? Or it is the contribution of only few thousands of people? I read an article some time back which said India has produced 29 multi-billionaires in the last 10 years. What difficulty is there? If you are allowed to take 1,76,000 crores and share it between a few, it will automatically produce multi-billionaires. This is the lopsided growth of our country because of corruption. The growth has never been trans-India, across India. Growth has been in pockets. And in those pockets alone have grown, mostly urban cities. No new cities are coming up. What opportunity does the rural people have? In most villages in this country, I can say it with some sense of responsibility, there is no drinking water facility, there is no drainage, there is no toilet, there is no electricity. Forget schools and primary health centers. How can a country which is primarily an agricultural country then develop? But if you ask the experts, they say, no, we are a developed country. Look at the GDP. Look at the literacy rate. In reality, what is happening today? The villages are shrinking because of the fact the youth are moving because they have no infrastructure, basic infrastructure available there. It eats through the mouth, it defecates through the mouth. It is perfectly all right otherwise. How do we look after this child? Well, I also could have sent a letter of recommendation to the government hospitals, but I thought, let me try something else. Why not involve the society in it? I sent a message. Lokayukta is begging to give this child a future. To most of the super specialty hospitals. Practically every one of them agreed. One of them said, we'll do it tomorrow. That hospital, the child was sent and it was operated. 1 month the child was there. And I tell you, the child is perfectly all right, like you and me today. It's not I'm not telling you this story because of the involvement of the Lokayukta Karnataka. Because of that doctor who demanded bribe and refused to treat the child in Hubli Medical College Hospital. That doctor in 2006 was drawing a basic salary of 33,000 rupees with all allowances different. That doctor, when he got his first MBBS degree, took a professional oath called Hippocrates oath, which I think today has become a Hippocratic oath. That doctor in 2008, because of the 6th Pay Commission, his salary went up to 80,000 rupees with allowances separate. That doctor did not remember his oath, professional oath. The disease in him, which I call the greed over need disease, was such, made that doctor inhuman in spite of the fact that he was getting triple the salary that he was getting in 2006. I believe there's something in every human being called a humanitarian consideration, in what we call in Kannada manaviyate, humanism. He didn't have that. It is not that it's learned by studies or by your association or by the quality of your birth. It is something which every human being must have. If you don't have it, you are not a complete human being. And that is the status to which many of the people who are suffering from greed, disease of greed over need, are today. They are not human beings. Look at the amount that has been secreted and collected. They can't consume it during their lifetime. Their family also cannot do it. Maybe next generation, maybe next generation. And what sort of a people are? How does the international community look at us? Is India a good country to invest on? Should we not think about this? Should we not bring about a change in the society, which according to me is a major, major player in this dirty game? Today, society thinks there's nothing wrong in being corrupt. You ask them, so what? Everybody is corrupt. Everything is corrupt. What are we going to do about it? Would you pay bribe? Well, if necessary, I'll pay bribe. We don't think it is something wrong. Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, please note, by an amendment of 1988, bribe giver is as much an offender as a bribe taker. Both are punishable with maximum 7 years and minimum 6 months. But we don't think of that. You want a driving license? You don't want to wait for 3 months? You pay bribe. You want a ration card? You pay bribe. Why can't we develop that attitude of saying I don't want the driving license, I'll wait and see when I get it and all, I won't pay bribe. Well, you may say it's very easy for you to say, but what about us? I want a can of kerosene. My ration wala will not give it to me unless I pay bribe. You have to change your attitude. I, for one, having realized the effect of corruption on the society, having realized that there is a need for change in the societal behavior, I've taken upon a task of visiting educational institutions. I visited more than 300 educational institutions, not only to talk, but also to interact. I have only one message there for the students. Try and understand what is the true meaning of the word satisfaction, contentment. It's not that feeling that you get, but getting something illegally, illegitimately. No, that's not the meaning. That is a feeling which is temporary. The true contentment and satisfaction is that which you acquire by your hard work legitimately. Try and see the difference between the two once you make it. That second satisfaction is permanent. That makes you proud of yourself. But then when it comes to a youth or somebody, it's not that I'm advising you that moment you attain that degree of satisfaction, then just relax. No, you must work hard. You must become big. You must become rich. A legitimately earned wealth is no product of sin. Otherwise, yes, it is. Therefore, while you must have ambition to grow, never allow that ambition to become an obsession. This is the message I have for these students. I hope at least 5% of them would understand. Of course, from interaction, you find much more than that. But even if it is 5%, I suppose in the years to come, we can change the society. Another mistake the society does. It felicitates people whom it perceives to be corrupt merely because they hold a post. By doing that, you will send a wrong message. That everything is all right even if you are corrupt. I think society should get rid of it. If you don't want, don't invite him. There should be a societal boycott of people whom you perceive to be corrupt. You don't have to fight with them. I mean, these are certain changes which are absolutely necessary if you really want to fight corruption. Our leaders are great people because they are representatives of the people. They have forgotten the meaning of the word representatives. They think they are the bosses. As I said earlier, democracy or the Praja Prabhutva, it's the Praja who is the Prabhu. They have forgotten that. They are the instrumentality for corruption. We have seen recently. If you say something to make law, they get angry, they object. From 1966 till date, there is no institution called Lokpal, even though recommended by the first Administrative Reforms Commission. So some people, when they read the 8th draft bill of the government, from the downloaded from the website, and they found it was a hoax, they drafted a Lokpal bill. All they wanted was to discuss with the government this bill vis-a-vis the bill that is prepared by the government. Government wouldn't want to discuss. Anna Hazare joined. He started protest. Then, of course, the bill was, a drafting committee was constituted. Discussion took place. Discussions failed. Some people started telling the government and the parliament, please look at it this way, look at our bill. Please consider our bill. Then one honorable member of the parliament says publicly, who are you? Unelected, unelectable tyrants? Who are you to tell us? We are the ones who make law. Who are you to tell us? Then came the big constitutional concept. Parliament is supreme. Nobody can force the Parliament to make a law. I mean, some of us know that much law. The law can be made only in the Parliament. As some leaders said, Parliament, law cannot be made in Maidans and protests. But what are we trying to tell you? We are giving some input to you to understand and make a law. How is law ordinarily made in a parliamentary nation? If the meaning of the word democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people, then the parliament is also of the people. Everybody can't go and sit there. So we send our representative there. He doesn't become our leader. He is just our pratinidhi, our representative there. But they think today, moment they are elected, they are the leaders. And this is the audacity with which they ask, who are you? Then the procedure is, when the government drafts a bill, the representative gets a copy of that bill, he must study that bill, go to his constituency and discuss the matter with the constituents. Then go and speak in the parliament, for or against. How many of them are doing it? Please see the last, a couple of issues back, the Election Watch magazine. In the tenure of 2004-2009, 5 years, out of the 540 odd Lok Sabha members, only 174 spoke in the entire 5 years. What is our representative doing there? Is he discussing the law? We are there, is what they said. Where are they? How many of them have asked questions in the parliament? Why is the law institution, the bill is not being brought before the House? Nobody's, because it is against themselves. It's not against you and me. It's against the central government employees, the ministers, the judges, parliament members. But this is the exact audacity with which they represent us. I have one last message to you all. When the next election comes, when that representative of yours comes and asks for your vote, ask two questions to him. Do you know who I am? He'll say, yes, yes, you are my voter. Say, no, I'm a citizen of India. I have certain rights. I am the creator of this constitution, because the very first line in the Constitution of India says, we, the people of India, give unto ourselves this constitution. Ask the next question. Do you know, if you are elected, who you will be? How? I'll be a representative. No. You will be a public servant. It has a different meaning altogether. Let them understand that. If we can prevent corruption in politics, I can assure you, corruption will go down to 25% of what it exists today, because no bureaucrat independently can be corrupt without the politician being corrupt, or vice versa. If the politician is honest, the bureaucrat can never be corrupt. So let us not forget the fact that we are citizens of this country. Let us not accept that the people get the government they deserve. Let us think about it. Want to bring about a change? I don't see any other way out. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity of being a part of this inaugural session. And I thank you all for listening to me.